Hello. 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 Is anybody there? 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 Oh. Hey, hello, who's there? Anybody there? Like to know before I start yapping. Okie doke. That done? Done? Yo, hello, hello, hello. Yo, hello, hello. My name is Bjorn. At least that's what I go by. But otherwise, I'm the army vet. And, whoa, dude. There was a tick on my finger. Did you hear that? Hmm? You hear that squish? Okay. Yeah, there was a fucking tick trying to fucking get his way into my finger. Into your finger? Yeah, on my knuckle. Popped his bitch ass. Come here. What? What? Hear me? Sorry for that partial interruption. That's crazy how I even noticed that. But it's on my finger. Now I'm afraid to fucking let Fran near me. Or Matcha. He was probably revving. Yeah, probably revving. Yo, Assault, brother, hello. Yo, I'm good. Thanks for dropping in. So appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna be reading this new book that I got. The US Constitution and Other Writings. It goes back all the way to the establishment of the colonies. That I had never even really read about in school. I mean, if anything, it was just mentioned in passing. You know what I mean? Part of like a chapter or two. How's your day going, Assault? Yeah, it's a very pretty book. A very pretty book. Gilded pages. We should, especially in this day and age, man. Not a lot of people know what the Bill of Rights is. You know what I mean? Kind of sad. A large part of that, I think, is because the people that run the government currently, hell yeah, Glad to hear that. But the people in power are intentionally subverting the Constitution, and they are, in a way, trying to phase it out or manipulate it and change it in ways that benefit the elite and stuff like that. Like, for instance, the 14th Amendment basically recognizes corporations and stuff. I'm pretty sure it's the 14th Amendment. Recognizes corporations as individuals. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. What is it? Which one? 14th. Yes, the 14th Amendment. Santa Clara County versus Southern Pacific Railroad. Supreme Court cemented the idea that corporations are persons entitled to 14th Amendment protections. I myself, I'm not a monotheist. I believe that kind of plays into a more grand manipulation by the elites over the people. Um, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, I agree though. People definitely treat the Constitution like the Bible, and I think it's in large part by, like I said, the people who it basically tells you the boundaries, but the boundaries are open to interpretation. So long as it's being interpreted by the U.S. SCOTUS, the Supreme Court. And it can also be changed through unanimous decision of the legislative body. It's not that I'm not religious. It's just my religion is so unorthodox. It's pagan at this point. You know what I mean? Oh, so that popped. Missing something. Something's not popping. That was bot rigs too. All right. So, all right. I'm going to. I mean, obviously, in between, you can still make your comments and whatever. I'll talk to chat and stuff. But I'm gonna start reading some of this. I'm gonna get to start reading some of this. If you don't have anything else that you want to talk about before I start, let me know. Nick, my opinion on ghouls. What's a ghoul to a goblin? Ant topic? No. That's what we're doing. Reading some historical documents um, that have to do with the establishment of the United States. Oh no. That's what's about to go on. The first document, the oldest document in the book, the Mayflower Compact. Mayflower Compact was the governing charter of the English colony at Plymouth in Massachusetts. John Carver, who helped to organize the Mayflower voyage and become the colony's first governor, likely wrote the compact, and it was signed by the colony's 41 free adult men. Second Amendment, fifth. What does that mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Second Amendment, fifth. The Mayflower Compact was written in 1620. Sorry. So we're going in chronological, starting with some of the oldest founding documents, and then we're going to move up to the modern era and the Supreme Court cases. Oh, yeah. Of course. Leif Erikson. Hingedingendergen. So, okie doke. The Mayflower Compact here. In the name of God, amen. We whose names are underwritten, the loyal subjects of our dread sovereign Lord, King James, by the grace of God, of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, King, Defender of the Faith, etc., having undertaken for the glory of God and advancement of the Christian faith and the honor of our King and country, a voyage to plant the first colony of the northern parts of Virginia, do, by these presents solemnly and mutually in the presence of God and one of another covenants and combine ourselves together into a civil body politic for our better ordering and preservation and furtherance of the ends as foretold, and by virtue hereof do enact, constitute, and frame such just and equal laws, ordinances, acts, constitutions, and offices from time to time as shall be through most meet and convenient for the general good of the colony, unto which we promise all due submission and obedience, in witness whereof we have hereto subscribed our names at Cape Cod, the 11th of November, in the reign of our sovereign Lord King James of England, France, and Ireland, the 18th, and of Scotland, and 44 Anno Domini 1620. Where's Super Chat? I don't have the YouTube set up, but one thing you could do that would help me immensely is if you went on to kick.com. Go over to kick.com. You can go over there. You can contribute to me directly if you wanted to. Trying to build up a little bit of a community, and in order to do that, to get verified and whatever, I have to have 100 concurrent subscribers within a 30-day period. That does not include gifted subscriptions. Subscriptions over on Kick are paid for. They are, I believe, $5 if you're doing it on the computer, $6 if you're doing it on mobile, or vice versa. I don't recall. But doing that would be the most direct way of helping me. The financial part is secondary. My primary is just to try and grow into a successful channel slash, streamer. Not necessarily, I don't want to consider myself like a content creator. I'm not going to be making a whole lot of videos unless it's like video game or something like that, you know what I mean? If I do anything that's too political, at least without getting on my P's and Q's, I's dotted, T's crossed, and stuff like that. I don't really want to get into that kind of realm of stuff because, you know what I mean? That stuff kind of sucks. Anyway, moving on to the Silence Do Good letters, written in 1722. Benjamin Franklin helped publish Boston's third newspaper, the New England Courant, as an apprentice at his brother James' print shop. The newspaper provided jaunty literature pieces in imitation of London papers that James admired, along other newsworthy articles. Ben wanted to write for the paper, but was afraid of objections from his brother, started slipping letters about current topics under the print shop door in the dead of night, using the pseudonym Silence Dogood. James and his friends frequently lauded the letters as coming from a much older and wiser community member, never suspecting the author was James' 16-year-old brother. Eventually, Ben admitted the truth, which led a brotherly rift, sending Ben to Philadelphia, where he became one of the foremost statesmen of our country. The 14 letters are published here. The first letter, dated April 2nd, 1722. To the author of the New England Courant. Sir, it may not be improper in the first place to inform your readers that I intend once a fortnight to present them, by the help of this paper, with a short epistle, which I presume will add somewhat to their entertainment. And since it is observed that the generality of people nowadays are unwilling either to command or dispraise what they read until they are in some measure informed who or what the author of it is, whether he be rich or poor, old or young, a scholar or a leather apron man, and give their opinion on the performance, according to the knowledge which they have of the author's circumstances. It may not be amiss to begin with a short account of my past life and present condition, that the reader may not be at loss to judge whether or no my lucubrations are worth his reading. Lucubrations. Sorry. Core Gamer. Let me see which file that is. Get into the library really quick. Data set 12. I'm trying to see when this was released. This was released on January 30th. Date of the draft was 2019. Okay, so this is the FBI interview. Yeah, I've listened to more than a handful of people talk about this document. Look at the correspondence between Epstein and Michael Wolff about a war. Anyway, let me get back to this letter, brother. Oh, sorry if I sound so monotone, guys. I don't do a whole lot of speaking. Most of my reading is internalized, you know what I mean? Where was I? At the time of my birth, my parents were on shipboard on their way from London to New England. My entrance into this troublesome world was attended with the death of my father, a misfortune, which thou I has not then capable of knowing I shall never be able to forget, for as he, poor man, stood upon the deck rejoicing at my birth, a merciless wave entered the ship, and in one moment carried him beyond reprieve. Thus was the first day which I saw the last that was seen by my father, and thus my dis- disconsolate mother at once made both a parent and a widow. That sucks. Let me help you out really quick. Have you been on Gmail? Gmail.world? You can do that. Okay, and then just so if you type Michael Wolff and then war. Yeah, just search Michael Wolff. Michael space WOLFF. That's gonna be on jmail.world. JMAIL.WORLD. Yep. So anyway, when we arrived at Boston, which was not long after, I was to put I was put to a nurse in a country place at a small distance from the town where I went to school and passed my infancy and childhood in vanity and idleness, upon I was bound out apprentice, that I might no longer be a charge to my indignant mother, who was put to hard shifts for a living. My master was a country minister, a pious, good natured young man, and a bachelor. He labored with all his might to instill virtuous and godly principles into my tender soul, well knowing, well knowing that I was time, uh, the most suitable time to make deep and lasting impressions on the mind, while it was yet untainted with vice, free and unbiased. He endeavored that I might be. instructed in all that knowledge and learning which is necessary for our sex, and denied me no accomplishment that would possibly be attained in a country place, such as all sorts of needlework, writing, arithmetic, etc. And observing that I took a more than ordinary delight in reading indigenous books, he gave me the free use of his library, which though it was but small, yet it was well chose to inform the understanding rightly and enable the mind to frame great and noble ideas. Before I had lived quite 2 years with this reverend gentleman, my indulgent mother departed this life, leaving me as it were by myself, having no relation on earth within my knowledge. I will not abuse your patience with a tedious recital of all the frivolous accidents of my life that happened from this time until I arrived to years of discretion. Only inform you that I lived a cheerful country life, spending my leisure time either in some innocent diversion with the neighboring females or in some shady retirement with the best of company, books. Thus I passed time. I passed. Thus I passed away the time with a mixture of profit and pleasure, having no affliction but what was imaginary and created in my own fancy, as nothing is more common with us women than to be grieving for nothing when we have nothing else to grieve for. As I would not engross too much of your paper at once, I will defer the remainder of my story until my next letter. In the meantime, desiring your readers to exercise their patience and bear with my humors now and then, because I shall trouble them but seldom. I am not insensible of the impossibility of pleasing all, and I am not unwillingly displease any. But I will not willingly displease any, and for those who will take offense where none is intended, they are beneath the notice of your humble servant. The second letter, dated April 16, 1722, to the author of the New England Current. Sir, histories of lives are seldom entertaining, unless they contain something either admirable or exemplar. And since there is little or nothing of this nature in my own adventures, I will not tire your readers with tedious particulars of no consequence, but will briefly and in few words as possible relate the most material occurrences of my life, and according to my promise, confine all to this letter. My reverend master, who had hitherto remained a bachelor, took upon a resolution to marry, and having made several unsuccessful, fruitless attempts on the more topping sort of our sex, and being tired and making tiresome journeys and visits to no purpose, he began unexpectedly casting a loving eye upon me, whom he had brought up cleverly to his hand. There is certainly scarce any part of a man's life in which he appears more silly and ridiculous than when he makes his first onset in courtship. The awkward manner in which my master first discovered his intentions made me, in spite of my reverence to his person, burst out into an unmannerly laughter. However, he asked his pardon, and with much ado composed my countenance. I promised him I would take his proposal into serious consideration, and speedily gave him an answer. As he had been a great benefactor, I could not well deny his request, once I perceived he was in his earnest. Whether it was love or gratitude or pride, or all three, that made me consent, I know not, but it is certain I found no hard matter by the help of his rhetoric to conquer my heart and persuade me to marry him. This unexpected match was very astonishing to all country round about, and served to furnish them with discourse for a long time after, some approving it, others disliking it, as they were led by their various fancies and inclinations. We lived happily together in the height of conjugal love and mutual endearments for near 7 years, in which time we added two likely girls and a boy to the family of the Do-Goods. But alas, when my son was in his Mirrodin altitude, exonerable, unrelenting death, as if he'd envied my happiness and tranquillity, and resolved to make me entirely miserable by the loss of so good a husband, fastened his flight to the heavenly world by a sudden, unexpected departure from this. I have now remained in a state of widowhood for several years, but it is a state I never much admired, and I am apt to fancy that I could be easily persuaded to marry again, provided I was sure of a good-humored, sober, agreeable companion, but one with a few good qualities being hard to find. I have lately relinquished all thoughts of that nature. At present I pass away his leisure hours in conversation, either by my honest neighbor Rusticus and his family, or the ingenious minister of our town, who now lodges at my house, and by whose assistance I intend now and then to beautify my writings with a sentence or two in the learned languages, which will not only be fashionable and pleasing to those who do not understand it, but will likewise be very ornamental. I shall conclude this with my own character, which I should be best able to give known, that I am an enemy to vice, a friend to virtue. I am one of an extensive charity and a great forgiver of private injuries, a hearty lover of the clergy and all good men, and a mortal enemy to arbitrary government and unlimited power. I am naturally very jealous for the rights and liberties of my country, and the least appearance of an encroachment on those invaluable privileges is apt to make my blood boil exceedingly. I have likewise a natural inclination to observe and reprove the faults of others, at which I have an excellent faculty. I speak this way by a way of warning to all those whose offences shall come under my cognizance, for I never intend to wrap my talent in a napkin. To be brief, I am courteous and affable, good-humored and handsome, and sometimes witty, but always, sir, your friend and humble servant, Silence Dogood. So, like I said at the start of these letters, it's Thomas Jefferson. He's like 16 or 17, and he's writing these letters to his brother, who is the chief publisher of a news agency in New England, the New England Current. Courant. Saying that right. What are you guys thinking so far? You enjoying it? Am I fucking it up? My voice annoying? I'd like to know. Be honest. Be honest, dude. If you're here, let me know. What's that, dog? Neurology. What's that, brother? What's up? What's that? Orange, what is that? Doesn't answer my question. September 17. Pick a year in the 90s. I'm sure it can't be too different. I don't really shouldn't do that, you know what I mean? My birthday. Godspeed. What's up? You were here before, I believe, weren't you? I think I've seen you before. Fucking reading, motherfucker. They're trying to fucking do like some like fucking astrology shit. But me, Godspeed, I'm fucking reading a book. Reading a book, the U.S. Constitution and other writings. That's what I'm reading. Currently, I'm reading the Silence Dogood letters. Silence Dogood was a pseudonym for Thomas Jefferson when he was 16 years old, writing letters, slipping letters to his older brother's news agency, the New England Courant. Yogi, do I really? Cool. Oh yeah. What is that a phone number, brother? You shouldn't be doing that. Put that in chat. Yeah, man. Numbers and stars, bro. Stars. Stars, bro. It all means something, bro. Fuck, dude. Nah, 6'9", 6'9", 6'9", 6'9". All right, gents. Um, I'm gonna get back to reading these letters. Okay, I'm gonna get back to reading these Thomas Jefferson letters. It is undoubtedly the duty of all persons to serve the country they live in according to their abilities. Yet I sincerely acknowledge that I have hitherto been very deficient in this particular. Whether it was for want of will or opportunity, I will not present stand to determine. Let it suffice that I now take up resolution to do for my future all that lies in my way for the service of my countrymen. I have from my youth been indefatigably studious to gain and treasure. Stop it. Stop what? Me reading? Yeah, I'm a terrible reader. But I gotta do it to get better, right? Up in my mind all useful and desirable knowledge, especially such as tends to improve the mind and enlarge the understanding, and as I have found it very beneficial to me, I am not without hopes that communicating my small stock in this manner, by piecemeal to the public, may be at least in some measure useful. Sorry. I'm very sensible that it is impossible for me, or indeed any one writer, to please all readers at once. Various persons have different senti- sentiments. I don't know why the fuck my brain was like. And that which is pleasant and delightful to one gives another a disgust. He that would in this way of writing please all is under a necessity to make his themes almost as numerous as his letters. He must one while being merry and diverting, then more solid and serious, one while sharp and satirical, then be sober and religious. One at one time let the subject be politics, then let the next theme be love. Thus will every one be one time or other find something agreeable to his own fancy, and in his turn be delighted. According to this method, I intend to proceed, bestowing now and then a few gentle reproofs on those who deserve them, not forgetting the same time to applaud those whose actions merit commendation. And here I must not forget to invite the ingenious part of your readers, particularly those of my own sex, to enter a correspondence with me, assuring them that their condensation condescension in this particular shall be received as a favor and accordingly acknowledged. I think I have now finished the foundation, and I intend in my next to begin to raise the building. Having nothing more to write at present, I must make the usual excuse in such cases of being in haste, assuring you that I speak from my heart when I call myself the most humble and obedient of all servants your merits have acquired. Speaking of Bitcoin, Jeffrey Epstein had a lot to do with that. Did you know that? Did you know what Jeffrey Epstein had to do with establishing the necessary financial nudge, pretty much, and the social engineering of getting the right people together to create the fucking blockchain? Hoop is round on the end so your bum doesn't slam shut. Rob, that is a very good point. Or their lack of. However, I have irritable bowel syndrome. Yes, core gamer, I am well aware of that. He's not necessarily responsible for microtransactions within video games because Oblivion did that 6 years before the emails between him and Bobby Kotick, um, the CEO of Activision at the time. No, I'm not Jewish. And the reason I have a septum ring is because while I was active duty in the army, it was the only ring besides a penis piercing or nipple rings that I could have that I could hide. Any other questions, Vay? I got answers for you. Sounds about Jewish? Nah, I'm not Jewish. I'm a pagan. I'm pretty against like Kabbalah and shit like that. Kabbalah, Freemasonry. I'm not a monotheist, so I don't fall into any of those groups. And you say I look Jewish because you said it sounds Jewish, but I bet you think the beard is just like Andre Brown. What up? There's not really a such thing as an old age pagan, considering most texts. I mean, if you're talking about like Norse, all of the texts that are preserved are pretty much Christianized. It was collected and published by Snorri, who was a Christian. So I don't take any piece of literature for anything more than it being literature. Andre, I think you might be. Potentially, Vey. It's potential. I mean, I think monotheism is a spirit trap, manipulation, and control. It's used as a tool. And then a lot of the things that they celebrate, like the holidays and stuff for like Christians, are pagan holidays that they've sanctified and made their own, making it easier to convert the people who practice them. Yeah, like Odin. Yeah. Stolen from all over. The Christians took mostly from Europe. A lot of it was from Europe, but the establishment of it was through a Canaanite god over there. Yahweh was not the chief that is perceived. All right, gentlemen and ladies, like 3% of my viewer base is fucking women, so Demiurge, yes, Godspeed. I definitely believe that. Definitely believe that the monotheist god that is worshipped in the Bible is the Demiurge, or what is defined as a Demiurge. By that same definition would be Odin. Odin is a demiurge as well. I don't know about the flat disk thing. Maybe if you look at it from like a spiritual context and like the fact that everything's on different like planes and stuff. I could defeat you in a battle. I do have a job, What's up, James? I am a looser. Looser, you look like a tighter. I do. I'm a courier, bro. I'm a disabled veteran and a courier. Get on Ark? I don't play Ark, brother. You not stand a chance. Shit, bro. You want a gun battle? Let's go. No, I'm just playing. I don't want to kill anybody that doesn't deserve it. Shit, I'm constantly smoking. DoorDash. I make about $25 an hour. Not bad. Pretty fun. Scorpio, I know, man. We're just fucking simulations inside of a simulation. Inside of a simulation. Instacart? Nah, I don't do Instacart. You do Instacart, Han? They um some of the ideology could be passed on, but he went about the wrong way. I don't think violence is the answer. It's just gonna cause more violence in the end of it by the end of it. Thank you. Thank you. Sakatsu. Appreciate it. Scorpio, yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware of the costs, but taxes and stuff cuz I'm 1099. One shot. Thanks, dude. Let your let your wife and concubine know that I'm very grateful. Chicken or the egg? Like evolutionarily, the the egg came first. What up, Jazz? Cloud seeds, hell yeah. Hell yeah. They. Um and Orn crackers. The hell's an Orn cracker? What's that? It's just a fucking air. Corn cracker? Thank you. Appreciate you. You said, no, I mean, I know. Schmuck, my channel is about me. It's just, it's just me. Whenever I decide to go stream, which I've been, I mean, I just live my life. People told me I should be streaming, so now I started streaming. Life's good. Thanks for stopping in, Vay. Have a good night. Thanks everybody who's in here. What the fuck? What the fuck? They talk about eugenics in the Epstein files. Apparently, Epstein has a kid. That shit's pretty crazy. That shit's crazy. That the CIA / Mossad asset practiced eugenics. Anyway, guys, I'm supposed to be reading. I'm supposed to be reading for you guys in my monotone ass voice. But Schmuck, this channel is just about me. I stream. I play video games. I listen to music. I smoke. Now I'm reading books for you guys. I talk. I chill. Life's good. Life is good. I believe there's 8 letters, right? Hopefully. Whose house did you break in? Yours, Sarah. Your house. I'm in your closet right now. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. Holy shit. How many fucking letters? Guys, I'm gonna be reading these letters all night long. All night long, guys. It's already been an hour. That shit's crazy. Now, remember, guys, the letters that I'm reading here is Thomas Jefferson going under an alias as Silence Dogood. He wrote letters and slipped them under the door to his brother's news agency, and these were published. Silence Dogood is portrayed as an older woman whose father was killed at birth, pretty much. She's born on a ship. Father went overboard. Blah, blah, blah. Mother eventually dies. She marries some dude involved with the church, I guess, or whatever. They have some kids. He dies. That's pretty much where we're at. Alastor. Hello. The Radio Demon. Hello. Welcome. Hail and welcome to my stream. And guess what? And guess what, one and only? Thor loves you too. Jason Howe. They're only serving corn on the cob. Corn on the cob hot dogs. Alistair, welcome to the stream. This stream is me chatting with chat and reading a book. I'm reading a book. Godspeed. If you stick around, you show up, I'll have no reason not to make you a mod. But right now, I don't have a reason to make anybody a mod. I've got my wife, and I've got a life childhood friend that helps me out. I do appreciate. I do remember you coming by. So it's already. Don't you worry. I'm watching. So, Alistair, yes, this is the Constitution and Other Writings. As I was describing or mentioning, the Do Good Letters, written by Thomas Jefferson to his brother to be published in his newspaper, which were to inspire liberty and like selfless service to the country. It's very long-winded. There's a lot of old-timey words that I'm stumbling over. If you can get over me being monotone in my reading and some swear words, or a lot of swear words, not some, a lot of swear words, and we're 420 friendly here too. So, letter number 4. The author of the New England Current. Sir, discoursing the other day at dinner with my Reverend Broader, formerly mentioned, concerning the education of children, I asked his advice about my young son William, whether or not I best bestow upon him an academical learning or bring him up at our college. He persuaded me to do it by all means, using many weighty arguments with me and answering all the objections that I could form against it, telling me withal that he did not doubt that the lad would take his learning very well and not idle away his time as too many there nowadays do. The words of Clarisis gave me curiosity to inquire a little more strictly into the present circumstances of that famous seminary of learning, but the information which he gave me was neither pleasant nor was I expected. Wolves. If you want to use TTS, go over to kick.com. Give me a subscription. Subscribe to my Kick, and then you get unlimited TTS. I even used my own voice to train an AI or two. So you can annoy me with my own voice. As soon as dinner was over, I took a solitary walk into my orchard, still ruminating on Clarice's discourse with much consideration, until I came to my usual place of retirement under the great apple tree, where, having seated myself carelessly, laid my head under a verdant bank, I fell by degrees onto a soft and undisturbed slumber. My waking thoughts remained with me in my sleep, and before I waked again, I dreamt the following dream. Thanks. Thanks, Polly-ish. Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, I know. It's fucking very Italian. Got it from my mom. Yes, I agree, Alistair. A lot of the people in history, they were all great men of their time. So I can't necessarily fault them for that. Because without them being, you want to call them progressive for that time, you know, whatever time you want to talk about, they are helping. They helped everybody get to where we are today. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. That's crazy, Polyish. That's crazy. Casey, no. Used to be. Yep. Chicken parm is pretty good. So this dream, I fancied I was traveling over pleasant and delightful fields and meadows, and through many small country towns and villages. And as I passed along, all places resounded with the fame of the Temple of Learning. Every peasant who had wherewithal was preparing to send one of his children at least to this famous place, and in the case most of them consulted their own purses instead of their children's capacities, so that I observed a great many, yea, and most part of those who were travelling thither were little better than dunces and bullheads. Alas! At length I entered upon a spacious plain, in the midst of which was erected a large and stately edifice. It was to this a great company of youths from all parts of the country were going. So steeping in among the crowd, I passed on with them, and presently arrived at the gate. The passage was kept by two sturdy porters named Riches and Poverty, and the latter obstinately refused to give entrance to any who had not first gained the favor of the former, so that I observed many who came to the very gate were obliged to travel back again as ignorant as they came, for want of this necessary qualification. However, as a spectator, I gained admittance, and with the rest entered directly into the temple. Bro, that's crazy, Ringo. Um, Alistair, no, I don't. I normally read books in my head. Ringo, no, I don't worship. Slick, we'll see. Yes, slick. There's an old army rhyme. Here I sit all broken hearted, went to shit but only farted. In my bed I took a chance, went to fart, but shit my pants. They didn't pay me to read in the army, Ringo. They paid me to fucking cook and to fucking jump out of planes and to fucking shoot guns, bro. All I gotta read now is fucking goddamn news articles and shit. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Why am I not a Christian now? For multiple reasons, but one of them being man. I don't trust man, and Christianity, mainly the Bible, is a man made object, and I'm not gonna worship a man made object. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna take the word of a man. Not that I don't think that there's something intelligent beyond us that might have influenced our creation, our being here. Is it the Christian God? I don't think so. 50. No, I don't agree with any wars um, that are not defensive ones. Well, Casey, If God could instruct one man to write, or he could create tablets, stone tablets, 2,000 years ago, there's no reason for that not to happen again. Especially in a time when we're so overpopulated, we're so ridden with corruption. There's a great question when it comes to faith. Claiborne, yes, I do. Sean, no, this is not X Hamster Live. This is Chatterbait. Yes, I agree. I agree, Claiborne. Alistair, it's fine. People can ask questions all they want. Just as long as, you're not being a fucking piece of shit and like hating. I don't give a shit. You can have debate. It's okay. Do I believe in Jesus? It's hard to say. Do I believe that he existed? Yeah. Do I believe that he was a magician or a demigod by definition? Someone who is thanks, Claiborne. I'll look into it. Like I've seen a lot. I've seen the Magellanic Cloud. The definition of a demigod being like born of man and a higher spirit or a higher being. I don't believe that he would be the only one. Within the 2,000 years, maybe. But older than that, you don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. My beliefs aren't necessarily set in stone. It's not something that can be defined by a single text or group of texts. I would hope, not that I believe, but I would hope that there is a place where the evil people go after death. People in particular who inflict pain upon the innocent and the young. And some sort of, I don't want to say authority figure, but obviously you would need someone to direct. You know what I mean? Someone's some presence, some presence there that is making or ensures that people are paying the price. Not necessarily whether you want to call it hell or Satan. Yo, thank you for the follow, Schmuck. No, I don't know who Mitski is. Can't necessarily play it either, or I'll get copywritten again. YouTube is pretty fucking whack. I can't play background music, or they're gonna copyright strike me and delete my channel. And I literally just started pretty much like actually trying to make my subscriber count go up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the videos of that, yes, but we've also all seen videos that the government said was, the moon landing, and fucking spacewalking and shit. But it's just that was like artist interpretation. Whether or not it happened legitimately, I don't know. But what they showed us on TV was artist interpretation. a lot of the pictures that we're shown um, are artist interpretation. Kevin McLeod. Bach. Yo. Yo, I'm just gonna play some 300-year-old bangers on stream because they can't copyright me. Yeah, that is crazy, bro. Wolfgang. Wolfgang. Amadeus. That's who I'd play. No, I have never seen a miracle. Bro, East Coast, best coast. East Coast, beast coast. Alright, listen. Fucking Florida gang all the way. Flow grown, flow grown. Some sneaky stitch. I don't know who the fuck that is. I appreciate everybody who's here right now. I do appreciate y'all. Y'all making my night a lot better. Call you P. Diddy. You know what? I'll say this. I don't give a fuck what your religion is as long as it does not perpetuate supremacist ideology, shit that makes people hate each other for arbitrary reasons such as belief systems, skin color, fucking what goddamn color your hair is or what fucking texture it is. All that shit, I don't give a fuck. Especially, I don't want none of that shit in government. You know what I mean? Separation of church and state forever. Ain't nobody from any type of religious establishment should be pushing that shit. Are you alive? If so, you've seen a miracle. I don't think so. Like that's your view. By that manner of thought, my car starting, that's a miracle every day. Even though I expect it to run as it was designed to. You know what I mean? It's just part of its design. Not really a miracle. I don't think ICE should be stripping people of the opportunity to the proper process. People go, oh, they had time, or oh, they have this, that, the other. If they're in the states, due process. I don't believe in taking people off the steps. Have you ever had a pedicure? No, never had a pedicure, never had a manicure. I should. I should. The thing about it though, Bob, is I chew my fucking nails way too much to really care. ICE should not be exactly. No government agency should be dehumanizing people. Rich, poor, old, young, weak, strong. Maybe not that last one. I think there's a lot of weak bodies that are only here because of medicine preventing their death. And I think that kind of negatively affects the, I don't want to say the gene pool, but it negatively affects. Well, I can't even say that because Hawking, all the good shit that he's contributed as far as that. Um, besides him being a fucking weirdo on the Epstein files. How do we stop ICE? You, when you vote, you make sure you're voting for somebody that you trust, somebody that you've done your research on. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for fucking Biden. I didn't vote for Clinton. I didn't vote for fucking Kamala. 16, I was in 2016, y'all. I was 19. I knew Mr. Grabber by the pussy and Hillary bleach dot bit her fucking email Clinton. I don't know if I can believe them, bro. I didn't know that there's a Libertarian Party. But in 2020 and 2024, I voted for the Libertarians. I did. So in 16, I didn't vote because I didn't know about the Libertarian Party because when like literally guys, I was 18, 19, 18 years old. I enlisted. Boom, straight to the army. Okay, it was. I turned 19 in September. Voting was October or November. So I was 19. Wipe the servers. Bleach.bit. I'm as bad as the Republicans singing their talking points. I'm not. What up, Zio? Oh, Zio, this is your favorite kind of conversation. Eric, don't worry about what's going on. You can just chill and be part of the conversation. How do I think the world became? It doesn't matter what I think, because everybody can think a different thing. Nobody knows how the world came to be. But my speculation is it came about through natural occurrences. A centrist in the time of fascism. Way to go, you. Way to go. If you're not right, you need to get left. If you're not left, then you're not right. Blah, blah, blah. It's left or right. It's left wing or right wing. Left wing or right wing. It's the same fucking vulture, bro. If you vote for the Republicans, you vote for the Democrats, you're voting for the same vulture because both wings are fucking tit for tat, bro. It takes two to tango. Those two, bro, they both, exactly, Zio. They both feed the machine, bro. That's crazy. Oh, he's MAGA. Oh, he's MAGA. Oh, yeah, I'll grab you by your pussy. I like fire sauce on my Taco Bell. Ryan, oh, I'm so wrong. I'm so wrong. I should be a Democrat. I should be vote blue no matter who. If Kamala Harris was in office, I don't think the Epstein files would have been released. I fuck with Baja Blast. Who let me see who sings that. I would play it on stream, bro, but I'm on fucking YouTube at the same time, and if I do that shit, please don't get involved in politics. Lots of them eat hot chip and lie. What the fuck is hot chip? How many wars would Kamala start? As many as fucking as they can manipulate her, well, not manipulate, but instruct her to go along with. How perfect the body functions, it doesn't. It does it first, but through time, through copying errors, we eventually degrade. That's what cancer and everything. Voted for new wars and cover up on Epstein files. I'm not glad that nobody's being held accountable. What I'm seeing is people in Europe holding these royalties, these royal heads accountable for their fuck ups and for associating with a fucking piece of shit sociopath pedophile, but not here in the States. Because the Dow is over 50,000, guys. The Dow, have you seen the fucking Dow, guys? I don't think the Dow has hit 50,000 since the day she said it was 50,000. Have you seen the Dow right now? The Dow's at 47.5 right now. Do I think Bill Gates did it? There's a reason Melinda left him. So with Kamala, no Epstein files, but yet Prince Andrew was arrested. Yeah. But what's going to come of it? Thanks, Rand. You can see yourself out. I appreciate you stopping in and being a chatter. But if you don't want to stay, that's fine. You feel like I'm misguided, I feel like you're misguided. Fuck. 9/8. Dude, I'm not doing math. Bro, I hope Trump fucking gets fucking held accountable. I want them to release the other 2.5 million files. I want them to actually review the files that are omitted, the ones including death and torture and all of that shit. People like Thomas Massey and Brokana should be able to see it. They should be able to charge people for this shit. Bill Gates is behind multiple hot chip situations. Yes, I agree, Alistair. It doesn't matter who's powerful. It doesn't matter. If you're a pedophile, you should be fed to a fucking wood chipper. Feet first. Who's in charge of redacting the files? So there are layers of redactions. The first layer of redactions was, I believe, the FBI. The FBI took all of the files, they put redactions, then they gave them to the DOJ. And then when the fucking the House committee for the Epstein Transparency Act. Thanks, Casey. Love you too. Take care. So anyway, yes, not the DOJ did have many people doing it, but the FBI did it first. Because when Thomas Massey got the files, he asked for them to be unredacted, but the unredactions had redactions. Exactly, censor burger. It's layered. It's like an onion. Goodbye, Rand. You don't have to stay. Misguided is crazy. Taking direction from one wing or the other, you're taking direction from the same vulture. I appreciate it, Alistair. Appreciate it. I got you. Oh, yes, illegally. They should be held accountable. Krusty Gnome, she got fucking fired. Trump fired her ass. You gonna take a blinker? Here, I'll do this one. I like this one better. Alfred, no, I'm good. Especially not when the chosen people spit on people, Christians that support them. Anyway, sorry. Back on to the DOJ. Christie's on the government payroll. She's a special envoy now. She needs to get the fuck out of here. Oh, is Ryan? Is that what the kill count's up to now? So far, 6. Yeah, I'm sorry. That rest in peace, all my brothers in arms. That none of them should be dead. We shouldn't be in Iran. Israel should be the one in Iran having people die. They're the ones that want this war. They should be the ones paying for it in blood. Israel will win this war no matter how many Americans lose their lives. I'm all right. Fuck that. Yeah. Shin Splint McGee, fucking goddamn bone spurs. I got bone spurs and a small dick. What do you mean? You wonder why night? Why do I stream at night? Eric's, what if they unredact everything and it's exactly what we think it was the entire time? Colostrum, yes. Green Thumb, hello, ma'am. Hello, Thur. Dude, Eric's, what if Charlie Kirk and Jeff Epp are just chilling together in Iran with the Ayatollah? Someone else. Oh, is there someone? Oh, Night. I broke my own sister's leg over McDonald's and now she won't talk to me anymore. Yeah, Nightmare. How dare you? McDonald's? Don't talk to me about McDonald's. Fuck McDonald's. I'm just kidding. But I'm not kidding. Fuck McDonald's. You know, guys, I was trying to read a book for y'all. Stranger in a Strange Land. Sounds. I've not read it, but it does sound familiar. Adding that. What up, Jax? Hello. Welcome to another episode of Good Mythical More. Well, I said morning, so it should be. It's midnight. I don't know. Good Mythical Midnight. Yeah, dude. Sorry, I don't do as much reading as I should. You know, I would only feel bad if it was Rand Paul that I was disappointing. But then again, what's up, Zim? I don't really care. Thanks for the sub, Zay baby. Appreciate it. Rand Paul kind of sold out too. He takes money from lobbies. Let's see. Large individual contributions attribute to nearly 40% of his last 5 years. 52% small individual contributions. But that doesn't necessarily indicate that it's not a bunch of individuals who associate the Maduro list. That's funny. Was that supposed to be like a joke on Epstein? Paul is not on the list of APAC recipients. Anyway, till I get back to this book, holy shit. It's been like half an hour. What up, Lilo? Just getting back to this book. I am reading The Silence Do Good Letters, which is Thomas Jefferson um, writing letters as an old lady. He's writing these letters to his brother's publishing office, newspaper office, and trying to basically instill a type of like patriotism for the country and stuff like that. So we're in the middle of a dream right now. Um, Walked up to a spacious plain in the midst. There was a large edifice. The passage, worst pen name, yeah, Silence Do Good. Yeah, that's kind of lame, dude. Come on, all of these fancy words, and you chose Silence Do Good. Now, granted, he was 16, so keep that in mind. Um, This big place, it's being guarded by two porters, riches and poverty. Um, in the middle of the great hall stood a stately and magnificent throne, which was ascended to by two high and difficult steps. On the top of it sat Learning in awful state. She was appalled wholly in black and surrounded almost on every side with innumerable volumes in all languages. She seemed very busily employed in writing something on half a sheet of paper, and upon enquiry I understood she was preparing a paper they'd call the New England Current. On her right hand sat English, with a pleasant, smiling countenance, and handsomely admired, and on her left was seated several antique figures with the faces veiled. I was considerably questioned to guess who they were until one informed me that those figures on the left hand were Latin, Greek, Hebrew, etc., and that they were very much reserved and seldom or ever unveiled their faces here, and then to few or none, though most of those who'd have in the place acquired such learning as to distinguish them from English pretended to an intimate acquaintance with them. I then inquired of him what would be the reason why they continued veiled in this place especially. He pointed to the floor of the throne, which I saw idleness attended with ignorance, and these were they who first veiled them and still kept them so. I am reading the Silence Dogood letters from a book called The U.S. Constitution and Other Writings. Thomas Jefferson, writing under a name or under a persona. Yeah. Basically, yeah. Pretty good summary right there, Schmuck. Um, Now I observed that the whole tribe who entered into the temple with me began to climb the throne, but the work proving troublesome and difficult to most of them, they withdrew their hands from the plough and contented themselves to sit on the foot with Madam Idleness and her maid Ignorance, who those who were until those who were assisted by diligence on a docile temper had well nigh got up to the first step, but the time drawing nigh, in which they could no way avoid ascending, they were fain to crave the assistance of those who had gotten up before them, and who, for the reward perhaps of a pint of milk or a piece of plum cake, lent the lubbers a helping hand and sat them in the eye of the world upon a level with themselves. The other step being in the same manner ascended, and the usual ceremonies at the end, every beetle skull seemed well satisfied with his own portion of learning, though perhaps he was just as ignorant as ever. And now the time of their departure being come, they marched out of doors to make room for another company, who waited for entrance, and I, having seen all that was to be seen, quitted the hall likewise, and went to make my observations on those who had just gone before me. As I perceived, took to merchandising, others to travelling, some to one thing, some to the other, and some to nothing, and many of them, from henceforth, for want of patrimony, lived as poor as church mice, being unable to dig, and ashamed to beg, to live by their wits. It was impossible. But the most part of the crowd went along with a large beaten path, which led to a temple at the end of the path of the plain, called the Temple of Theology. The business of those who were employed in this temple being laborious and painful, I wondered exceedingly to see so many go towards it, But while I was pondering this matter in my mind, I spied Pecuna, Jesus Christ, I probably butchered that, behind a curtain, beckoning them with her hand, immediately, which which sight immediately satisfied me, for whose sake it was a great part of them traveled that road. In this temple, I saw nothing worth mentioning except for the ambitious and fraudulent contrivances of Pelagius, who, notwithstanding he had been severely reprehended for such practices before, was diligently transcribing some eloquent paragraphs out of Tilterson's work to embellish his own. Now, let's see, he's talking about people buying into university for staff. Yeah, it sounds about right. Now I bethought myself in my sleep that it was time to be at home, and as I fancied I was traveling back thither, I. Oh my. Geez, sorry guys. I am not used to reading out loud. My mind is just kind of fucking bobbling, dude. I reflected in my mind on the extreme folly of those parents who, blinded to their children's dullness and insensible of the solidarity of their skulls, because they thought their purses can afford it, they need send them to the temple of learning, where they want for a suitable genius. They learn little more than how to carry themselves at a dancing school. They carry themselves handsomely and enter a room gently. And from whence they returned, their abundance of thought and charge, as great blockheads as ever, only more proud and self-conceited. While I was in the midst of those unpleasant reflections, Clericus accidentally awakened me. To him I related my dream with all of its particulars, and he, without much study, presently interpreted it, assuring me that this was a lividly representation of Harvard College. Um, your humble servant, Silence Doolittle. Mars snacks. Not currently. Not in front. Well, technically, I do. Got some fudge stripes. But no. Other one. Taco Bell tea. Because you know who wins the fucking fast food wars, right, guys? Where my fucking Idiocracy fans at? No, not Idiocracy. Demolition Man? Demolition Man. Yeah, Demolition Man. I'm like 99% sure. You got the pocket butter. You got the pocket spaghetti in the other one. You got pocket spaghetti, bro. So when you trip and it all falls out, you can king block it back in. You know, just pulling your fucking spaghetti back in. Guys, would you be as so kind as to lend me a moment or two to drain the snake? Let me go water the toilet really quick. No short logs, none of that. Promise. I'll be back in like a minute. Okay, I'm back. Thank you. I feel a lot better. Nobody do what that man asks you. Don't, whatever he said, don't do it. Okay, just don't do it. Get out of here. Yeah, get out of my face. Guys, don't text or call that number. If you do, that'd be pretty dumb. Don't don't accept no invite from anybody you've never talked to before. That would be silly. Gents, lady and gents. Always assume there's one present. Never act out of pocket, gentlemen. Um, let's do a little smoking. You guys smoke? Schmuck, are you still there? Thanks for fucking helping carry the conversation today, man. Am I in DRC? No. Why would I be there? Are you in DRC, bro? Ni hao. I'm in the United States of motherfucking America. As unfortunately corrupt as it is of a country at the moment. Not that China's any fucking better. Assuredly, assuredly, thou would not prefereth the life of a communist. It is better to be a socialist in a capitalist country than a capitalist in a socialist country. Right, guys? Do you agree? After all, you are free to practice as you please, right? As long as you don't interfere with somebody's right to life, pursuit of happiness, right? Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, meaning property, which is being infringed upon heavily by this current administration and the ones of past. One could make the argument that the government of the last 120 or so years, arguably longer than that, arguably all the way to the establishment of this current government, taking advantage of the people. Except in the establishing articles, it is said otherwise. Comparatively to today's legislation that we see being passed, is worded in a way that is hostile to the individual's rights, particularly the pursuit of happiness part. life, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The happiness part being property, okay? If they make it impossible for you to own anything, you cannot be happy. You understand? We have to do something, Chad. We have to do something. We have to do something. You think I'm wrong? Let me know. Well, let's get it. Let's get it. Who smokes? Who's smoking? Who's smoking? I don't know if I can show you guys on YouTube. I mean, technically, this shit legal in Georgia. This is not. This is not street weed, guys. Okay, YouTube. This is. This was legally purchased. This was legally acquired at a legitimate business establishment here in Georgia. Okay, not doing anything illegal. You are the one doing illegal. You are the one selling our data. YouTube. You, YouTube. So anyway, guys, cheers. Look, I hold up a water pipe. It is merely a water pipe. Cheers. Look at that chat. Look at that chat. I appreciate y'all. Y'all got me up to 195. 195 subs. I appreciate that. Really do. Really do. Hmm. So, be back to reading this motherfucking book for you, alright? Be back to fucking up my English. Silence Do Good, letter number 5, dated May 28, 1722. To the author of the New England Current. Sir, I shall here present your readers with a letter from one who informs me that I have begun at the wrong end of my business, and that I ought to begin at home and censure the vices and follies of my own sex before I venture to meddle with yours. Nevertheless, I am resolved to dedicate this speculation to the fair tribe, and endeavor to show that Mr. Ephraim charges woman with being particularly guilty of pride, idleness, and wrongfully insinuating, and wrong, etc., wrongfully, inasmuch as the men have not only taken as great a stare in those vices as the women, but are likewise in a great measure the cause of which the women are guilty of. I think it would be best to produce my antagonist. It would be best to produce my antagonist before I encounter him. Idhan Rafiha. Let me see what that is. Thanks for coming into chat. I hope you're having a good night. I don't watch football. I don't watch soccer. I don't watch the games. I don't watch UFC. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch baseball. I don't watch football. I don't watch NASCAR. I don't do none of that. That's too much. That's too much circus. I already play too many video games. I already have enough of a distraction in my life. But if you're talking about the Brazilian soccer player, good for him. Don't know. Glad that he's successful. I hope he treats people in his life well. No, you're don't apologize. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. All right. You're the games. You know what I mean? You watch sports. I watch politics. My shit's more boring. So that's my bad. Not that engaging or entertaining or happy go lucky. Shit's like doom and gloom. I hope you have a good night. Appreciate you for stopping by. Um, I think it would be best to produce my antagonist before I encounter him. To Miss Dogood, Madam, my design in troubling you with this letter is to desire you would be to desire you would begin with your own sex first. Let the first volley of your resentments be directed against female vice. Let female idleness, ignorance, and folly be the subject of your satires, but more especially female pride, which I think is intolerable. Here is a large field of that wants cultivation, and which I believe you are able to improve with advantage. And when you have once reformed the women, you will find it a much easier task to reform the men, because women are the prime causes of a great many male enormities. That is all present from your friendly well wisher, Ephraim Censorius. After thanks to my correspondent for this kindness in cutting out work for me, I must assure him that I find a very difficult manner to reprove women separate from the men. For what vice is there in which men have not a great share as the women? And in oh, let me fucking point this light down. Maybe the bad lighting that'll help. Maybe if I make it a little fucking bright. Maybe this will help. Getting old, dude. I'm 28. Getting old, dude. I'm 28. I'm saying I'm old. Look at the fucking old, dude. Fuck. What vice is there in which the men have not as great a share as the women? And in some have they not a far greater, as in drunkenness, swearing, etc.? And if they have, then it follows that when a vice is to be reproved, men who are most culpable deserve the most reprehension, and certainly, therefore, ought to have it. But we will waive this point at present and proceed to particular consideration of what my correspondent calls female vice. As for idleness, if I should query. Oh, I fucking do. That's an old word, dog. It's not query. I know that. Um, queer. Where is the greatest number of its volataries, votaries to be found? With us or the men? It might be, I believe, you easily truly answered with the latter. For notwithstanding the men are commonly complaining how hard they are forced to labor only to maintain their wives in pomp and idleness. Yet if I go among the women, you will learn that they have always more work upon their hands than they are able to do, and that a woman's work is never done. But however, suppose we have a grant for once that we are generally more idle than men. I desire to know whose fault it is. Are not the men to blame for their folly in maintaining us in idleness? Who is there that can be handsomely supported in affluence, ease, and pleasure by another? That we choose rather to earn his bread by the sweat of his own brows? And if a man would be so fond and so foolish as to labor hard himself for a livelihood, and suffers his wife in the meantime to sit in ease and idleness, let him not blame her if she does so, for it is a great measure of his own fault. Now for the ignorance and folly which he reproaches us with, let us see let us see who is at the fault, or who is the fault, the men's or ours. An ingenious writer, having this subject in hand, for the following words, wherein he lays the fault wholly on the men for not allowing women or for allowing women the advantages of education. I have, says he, often uh I have often thought as if it was one's most barbarous customs in the world, considering us a civilized and Christian country, and we deny the advantages of learning to women. We reproach the sex every day with folly and impertinence, while I am confident that that holy fuck that they had advantages of education equal to us, they would be guilty of less than ourselves. One would wonder indeed how it should happen that conversable women are conversable at all, since they are only beholding to natural parts of their knowledge. Their youth is spent to teach them how to stitch and sew, or make baubles. They are taught to read indeed, and prepared to write their names or so, and that is the weight of a woman's education. And I would but ask many who slight the sex for their understanding, what is a gentleman, I mean, good for that is thought no more. If knowledge and understanding has been useless additions to the sex, God Almighty would have never given them the capacities, for he has made nothing needless. What uh what has the woman done to forfeit the privilege of being taught? Does she plague us with her pride and impertinence? Why did we not let her learn so that she might have more wit? Shall we upbraid women with folly, when 'tis only the error of the inhumane custom that hindered them from being made wiser? So much for female ignorance and folly. And now let us a little consider the pride which my correspondent thinks is intolerable. By this expression of his, one would think he was a dejected swain, tyrannized over by some cruel haughty nymph, who, perhaps he thinks, has no more reason to be proud of himself. Alas, a day. What shall we say in this? What shall we say in this case? We truly, if women are proud, it is certainly owing to the men still, for they will be such simpletons as to humble themselves as at their feet and their credulous ears with extravagant praises of their wit, beauty, and other accomplishments. And other women are by this means persuaded that they are something more than humane. What wonder is it if they carry themselves haughtily and live extravagantly? Nonetheless, I believe there are more instances of extravagant pride to be found among men than among women, and this fault is certainly more heinous in the former than in the latter. Upon the whole, I conclude that it will be impossible to lash any vice of which men are not equally guilty with the women, and consequently deserve an equal, if not greater, share in the censure. However, I exhort both to amend where both are culpable. Otherwise, it may be expected to be severely handled by, uh, it be expectedly handled severely handled by your humble servant. The text in this is kind of printed weird. So like there's supposed to be a space and it kind of just fucking tumbled together. No fucking period mark. What do you think, chat? 1 o'clock in the morning. I think we save this for tomorrow. Good. Cool. Tight. Tight like a nun. You ain't got none. That's in her bun. I'm fine. Fuck, yo. Sorry for being such a shit reader, guys. Reading for you guys. I'm gonna get better. We'll grow together. Forever. Thank you. Have a good night. See you guys tomorrow at 10.